This is the Board of Education for Chico Unified School District regular session for April 17th, 2024. We will be going into closed session and reconvening at 6 p.m. Good evening. Welcome to the regular session for the Chico Unified School District Board of Education for April 17th, 2024. The board was in closed session and are now returning to open session. During closed session, the board unanimously upheld the recommended termination of a classified employee. It was unanimous, but we do have one member absent. All right, with that, I think that we can please stand for the flag salute. Salute pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's been better, it's been worse. All right, we'll move into student reports and I'll hand it over to you, Superintendent Staley.
Absolutely, thank you. Tonight we are going to see some hands-on activities from some of our CTE programs at Chico High School, and I'd like to introduce Doug Williams, who will introduce our staff and students. FFA should have led the flag salute.
Hello, board. How are you? Thank you for having us here this evening. It's always exciting to come and show off things that are going on at our high schools. I put a little flyer in front of you there. When I thought about representing our school, we often talk about trying to combine academics and classroom instruction with real-world life skills and work skills. And so I can't think of a better group to represent the balance of both of those than some of the students and the faculty that I brought here for you tonight. And they're going to obviously do the speaking for themselves. I'm just going to say that I'd like the three teachers to step forward. I have Elva Anderson representing Ag and FFA. I have Tammy Taylor representing Medical Pathways and our HOSA program. And I have John Andrews representing our IT department because he does so many things in there, we just say department. So we're going to let the students speak, and I just want to thank the board for this opportunity. I know you guys have a busy schedule, and I want to thank also all the students for coming because I know they have an extremely busy schedule with activities and academics. And so without further ado, we're going to have our FFA group come up and explain some of the things they do at our school and outside of school.
Hello, my name is Emerson Christopher. I'm currently serving as the Chico FFA Treasurer, where I've also been able to serve as Chico FFA Secretary and a Superior Region Officer. Being an FFA has given me multiple opportunities to not only talk to adults, get to know career technical advisors, but also I've been able to grow as a leader myself and improve my public speaking. I've competed in multiple public speaking competitions, job interview, extemporaneous, but I've also been able to lead meetings, work on agendas, and improve myself as a leader by myself and with my chapter. I've been able to learn so much from my advisors and my fellow students and go beyond just my chapter, my region, my section, and all the way up to the state. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hello, my name is Marie Hewitt. I'm a senior at Chico High School, and I'm also the current Chico FFA president. And at Chico High, we have been given many opportunities to compete in different competitions, all of that, as Emerson said. And one thing in particular that we get to do is we get to take ag science classes. So we have 3 of them, which is ag biology, ag chemistry, and we also have advanced interdisciplinary ag science, which sounds scarier than it is, but it's a lot of fun. And so through all of those classes for the last 3 years that I've been in them, I was able to make a agri-science fair project and take it to the state level during my junior year. And I placed 3rd in the state, and it was about how to graft queen bees with royal jelly. And through all of that, I learned how to do many different things with my projects that I do, and I wouldn't have been given any of those opportunities if I didn't have the ag science classes, which helped me make all of those different projects and everything. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leslie Perez. I'm a senior and I've been part of the Chico FFA for 4 years. So I'm here to talk about agronomy. Agronomy is one of our CDE teams. CDE stands for Career Development Event. Agronomy is the science and studies of crop and productions. Agronomy participants can help participate in contests, and this opportunity has let me learn to become a better speaker and to involve myself in involving with other chapters. During my time in the agronomy team, I have learned to be more social and become more of a follower and a leader. Chico High, if you want to be part of the agronomy team, I suggest you take the horticulture class. Horticulture is a plant science class. Horticulture can be very valuable if your student wants to pursue a future career in that field. This is a huge part of the agriculture industry by helping plants grow better and helping the world have better food in Palestine. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sienna. I'm a junior at Chico High, and this is my first year in the patient care pathway. I'm in sports med, but this year is my first year joining the HOSA Club, which is Healthcare Occupations for Students of America. And this year we traveled to Anaheim to compete in various events and go to different workshops and learn a bunch of new things. And I'm very happy I was given this opportunity because it was a great experience. I learned a bunch of new things. And yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Felton, and I'm a senior at Chico High, and I've been in the patient care pathway for 2 years. And so right now I'm in the medical careers path, where we've gotten a bunch of opportunities to intern at different hospital facilities and shadow different doctors. So currently I'm at the Skyway Surgery Center, where I get to observe a bunch of different cool surgeries and procedures. And I've been able to just be exposed to a bunch of different stuff that I wouldn't be able to see otherwise. Like, I would have never been able to walk into a surgery normally. And so the class has been granting me a lot of different opportunities to be able to see where I might want to be in the future in the medical field. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tilly Stadler. I'm also in the career pathway for 2 years. And this year I'm in the medical careers pathway where I get to intern at multiple different places. So right now I'm currently located at Dr. Barnes Oral Surgery, which is so cool. I've never thought I'd ever be able to see something that when people are normally under. So it's been super cool learning about that kind of connection that the doctors and patients have, and just seeing the everyday thing that you only get to see a brief moment of, but I get to see a whole hour. So it's been really cool, and I'm super excited to see where this opportunity leads me. Thank you.
So, as Mr. Williams said, I am representing the Industrial Technology Department. We have two halves. One's information communication technology. If they're holding something, they're in that particular pathway. The other two gentlemen to my left are in the architecture and engineering pathway. And so I'm just going to hand them a mic, and they're going to talk about what types of events they've worked on this year.
Hello, I'm Kylie Nitsky.
And I'm Eli Hu.
We are freshmen at Chico High, and we participated in the humanoid robotics competition at a state level.
I'm Brian Hu. I'm a junior at Chico High, and I'm taking the robotics and drones course this year as part of the programming and software engineering CTE pathway. This year I competed in VEX Robotics, which is a robotics competition across Northern California. And I also went to Skills USA to participate in the commercial drone contest. This is one of our drones. And yeah.
Hey, I'm Francisco, and this robot is also for VEX Robotics, and we built it this year in our robotics class to participate in competitions. And this robot is for Skills USA, Urban Search and Rescue. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Devin McNair. I'm a sophomore at Chico High, and we built this in class for Urban Search and Rescue and for Vex Robotics.
Hi, I'm Mason. I'm in the architecture pathway, and I have been for the past 4 years. And over the past 3 years, I've been doing a lot of different competitions. The first of which is Create, which is exactly what you think it is. You create something, and that thing is typically an architectural project, typically residential or mild commercial. And it's a statewide competition, so teams compete with other high schools all over California, mainly from the Bay Area and Sacramento. And 3 years ago, we actually won, and then in the next 2 years, we received other awards for best presentations, best physical model, and the like. And then I have also been doing Skills USA for the past 3 years, and last year, I competed in architectural drafting at the state level, and I got first place, which allowed me to move on to architectural drafting at the national level, of which I was able to place 8th nationally.
Hi, my name is Nathaniel Eisen. I am in the Engineering and Architecture Career Pathways, and I also participate in Skills USA, to which I competed at a state level for engineering, technical design, and I won gold, beating everybody else in the state.
So we had 4 medalists come out of state this year. That was gold medal in both technical design and technical drafting. Technical drafting will go to the national level in Atlanta. The technical design is a state-only contest, and we also got bronze in both of those contests. Everyone on this end did compete in the 3 events that we had at for Vex Robotics competition at Chico High School that we hosted ourselves. So.
You guys all want to stand up one more time, that whole group? So I actually want to thank the board, because I know when you're sitting there and you're trying to make decisions about classrooms and supplies and funds, I want you to see that when the rubber meets the road, stuff's getting done, because decisions that you do in closed session, your arguments, your debates, it really does matter. And you can see by the passion that you have teachers, you have students, that they're making lifelong connections. And what I really like about all these students is they represent varied personalities, varied interests. Some students are just doing it because they want to try it, and some students, it might be a career. And I think that's exactly what we want in a high school educational program. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate our DO for inviting us here, and I appreciate the board for what they do, and I'd like to give them one more round of applause.
Before you disperse really quick, I don't know if this is too much pressure, but I'd love to see maybe simply just a show of hands for where you're at now, if you feel like you're going to maybe continue down this pathway in the future, even post-graduation, or if you think it's like a hobby and something that's going to be really great for, a side thing, that's cool too. But do you guys all feel like you might be going this pathway? You can raise your hand maybe, and if not, that's fine too. I love that. Nice. Or to the side, if you're like, I'm still exploring, yeah. And thumbs down if you're like, I'm not doing this ever again. I'm just kidding. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. It's really fun to get to see what you all are doing out there. So thank you for being here.
And with that, I will turn it back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. Let's see. We will move to announcements. At this time, are there any board members that have announcements that they would like to make?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Williams beat me to it, but I was going to comment on the flyer from Chico High School, but he also mentioned it, and if anyone out there watching has an opportunity to pick up one of these at school or find it online, I would suggest you do that. The other thing that I had in the way of announcements will come in a few minutes if I can get my computer to turn on. when I was going through reviewing the agenda item where we handle a whole bunch of stuff at once.
Consent?
Yes, the consent agenda. There was one item in there that I was going to ask be pulled so that I could thank the people that have donated to the school district. And under the consent agenda, it does list donations to the school district. It's absolutely heartwarming, and wish to thank the people that are continuing to donate to the district, and tell you how much we appreciate it. And I know that those funds and items that you're donating at the different schools are being put to very good use, as you can see from the demonstration of what our students are doing right here. Thank you.
I also, it's not really necessarily an announcement, just a appreciation. I was able to get over to Fairview yesterday evening for their multicultural fair event, and it was just really nice to see everybody out, and the different foods and dances, and just the general sense of community there was really great. So that was awesome that they were able to do that for everybody. I recommend it for next time. Okay, if there are no other announcements, we can move to items from the floor. Items from the floor are for speakers who wish to address the board regarding a topic that is not currently agendized. At this time, we'll take public comment from speakers who wish to address the board for topics that aren't on this agenda. As a reminder, speakers have 3 minutes to address the board. The bell will buzz when 30 seconds of speaking time remains. And then for items from the floor, the board can listen to public comment but cannot respond to any speakers under the items from the floor. And so for tonight, so far we have one speaker for this item, and then we have another speaker signed up later under a different item. The rules are the same. So I'll ask Elaine Ward to come up to the microphone, please.
We can run small group instruction. Teachers are seen as equals by students. Students are seen through two sets of eyes that can observe many things. They have two teachers they can go to for help. Not only meets the needs of the IEP students, but also the students that need a little more help. 30% of my students in the 3 math classes have an IEP. These are benefits shared by teachers 2 years ago when talking about the co-teach program at Chico Junior and Parkview. These statements made me excited for what my son's secondary level education would look like. Imagine my disappointment when touring junior highs for my son when I was informed that co-teach is no longer happening at the secondary level. One principal told me we moved away from co-taught as we were unable to maintain the co-taught teachers that made effective teams. Another principal told me budget cuts were made and dedicated teachers to the co-teach program were leaving or have left. I've seen the success of a co-teach program that a co-teach program can have for students. My son is a living example of this. At his triannual IEP, where we reviewed all of his information from the last 3 years, his 5th grade teacher stated, "It doesn't even sound like we're talking about the same kid." And I know it's because of the co-teach model at his school. At the secondary level, there will always be budget constraints, and when it comes to co-teach, more teachers are needed, which equals more money. But as my husband has told me before, everything is figure-outable. Teachers will leave, but we have to ask, how can we get them to stay? How can we support them? Also, 2 years ago, Diane Olson stated that co-teach is at no added cost at the elementary level, and training for the co-teach model would be happening that school year. It was shared with me that a training did take place at one school site, at an elementary school site, but it was never implemented for the 2022-23 school year. Why? Co-Teach is a truly inclusive program that gets your students that are on, that would typically be in a mild mod classroom into the gen ed classroom, experiencing their education with their peers, where they learn and benefit from that peer modeling, where your inclusion specialists enter the classroom and they can help support your students in the classroom. Even more important, at the secondary level, there you have those students that don't meet the requirements for an IEP that are still would benefit from the Co-Teach curriculum. We need to reevaluate this and get it back at our secondary level and elementary schools. Thank you.
John, I feel like you should be good at that. It's always going to be John's fault from now on. Thank you, Elaine. Okay, so we'll move along then to the next item, which is consent calendar. Are there items that need to be pulled from consent at this time?
Madam President?
Yes.
Item 8.3.2, we need to pull the Aries contract. That will be coming forward at the May meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
So are we pulling the whole item and then bringing it back, or just
Just the one contract
Okay.
within 8.3.2.
Okay, so we can approve that minus that line? Okay. I would like to pull a chunk of items. It'll make sense in a second. So it's 8.2.7, 0.8, 0.9, 10, 11, and 12. It's the basic new courses for the basic curriculum. And that's going to be just something that I want to kind of give an opportunity to better explain what those courses are for. Did anybody else want to pull an item from consent? No? Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Sure. I will move to approve the consent calendar less the pulled items.
Okay. And then do we have a second?
Second.
Great. Okay, let's do a voice vote if there's no further discussion on those consent items. Okay, I'll start with Ms. Conkin.
Conkin, aye.
Dalby, aye.
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
And then we have one absent. Great, then it's unanimous, that passes. Jacqueline, just for clarity, that is pulled and I will go through the approval of that minus that one line?
My understanding is that contract was pulled, not the item, but we can
Right.
certainly go back to that item and say all contracts
Okay.
except the Aries contract.
No, I think that it's okay. I think we all approved that under that understanding. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have to actually vote over it separately. The items I pulled are new course proposal requests for high school. There's 6 of them that are basic American government and civics, basic biology, the living earth, basic economics, basic physics of the universe, basic United States history, and basic world history. And when this came up, when it was published, it was the first I had seen or really heard or I didn't understand at the time, and I had a lot of questions, and I had a good conversation, and I thought it would be nice to just invite Sarah Pacias to just give a little brief explanation about those courses and what it means for Chico High School. So thank you so much for being willing to give us a little brief about it.
Hi, I'm Sarah Pacias, Assistant Principal at Chico High School, and you just want me to kind of give you the overview of the purpose. So 3 or 4 years ago, there have been some changes in the state of California in the special ed model, and at that time, Chico Unified, Diane Olson was the director at that time, and there was an urging to move teachers from the SDC resource model into a more inclusive model that had a classification called Ed Specialist. So at that time, we started structuring a master schedule that had inclusion of co-teach classes and more access to curriculum for students with special needs. And in that process, we have been using, been using modified classes when students are actually receiving a greater level of instruction than the modified classification. And so because of the way transcripts and things work, we need to add new courses with the basic classification. We already teach basic English. We already teach basic math courses. It's the same name across the board. We will just now have offerings of basic world history, basic U.S. history, basic government, basic economics, basic biology, and basic physics. And so all of those classes will be in the basic category, which will give students who are enrolled in those classes, who are only eligible to be in those classes through the IEP process. These are not general education classes. They are still classified very specifically as special ed, but even greater access to that curriculum. And at Chico High, we've really worked, it's a work in progress. I don't want to overstate it that it's all the kinks are worked out, but we are definitely working towards more collaboration between our special education teachers and our general education teachers, and the teachers who are in the co-taught model, who are actually in the classroom working with the gen ed teachers in a world history class or in a science class. They are also the teachers who are teaching the basic classes, and so they're bringing more opportunity for that gen ed curriculum, and we're using the same textbooks. The reading assignments might not be the same. There's much more scaffolding. There will be adjustments made to the curriculum so that the access is appropriate for the students, but it is a greater level of access for the students who are enrolled in those classes. And so it's just the next step in the model to increase the access for all students to the general education curriculum. And in order to do that, we need new course proposals so that the numbers match and we can get those kids in those classes. So, any other questions about that?
Are the courses standalone sections?
That entirely depends on enrollment. Okay. I can't, there might be more than one section of a particular class and only one section of another class. It all depends on.
They're not. I guess my question is more like they're not blended. You don't have like history and science, basic history and basic science.
Oh, no. Yes, so you're not having science and history taught in the same classroom. There would be a section of history, a section of science. The master schedule will look almost from a special education standpoint. The look of the schedule will look nearly identical. It's just changing the names of the classes through new courses in order to be accurate to what we're teaching.
And just to be clear, the first priority is to get students with IEPs in the general ed classes with their peers. That, with the other model is like but this offers another level of intervention needs, for the students who need a lot more scaffolding and
correct. So we're always looking for the least restrictive environment. Right. And so it's through the IEP process, we're working very closely with our psychs to look at student skill sets. And so there might be some students, for example, who might be in a general education English class because they have the ability to do general education work, and they might have an academic support class to help them with that work. But then they might be in a basic math class because the math skills might not be where the English skills are. So it's really looking at the needs of the individual students to make sure that they're placed appropriately. And right now, we don't have basic classes for the course proposals that are on the board's agenda tonight, but we do have basic classes for math and English, so we're just increasing those offerings.
And you're finding that successful, and that's why the expansion.
Yes, we are.
I guess, so just for everybody else's context, my red flag that came up when I saw this on the agenda without any context was, are these, a workaround to having our students take the 3-course model science classes, which we did talk about about 2 years ago now, and make sure there wasn't like a dumping ground class where, students who are just struggling, and that, try to like segregate them into,
These are classified as special education classes, and you can only get into these classes through the IEP process. A general ed student is not eligible to be placed in this class. Co-taught class, the gift of the co-taught model is that you have special education students in a general education class with additional support in there. So a co-taught class is a supported general education class, but the basic classes are special education classes that are using as much of the general education curriculum as we can to support the learning for those students.
On the master's schedule, my brain has been around science this last
Sure.
week, so when you look at like the science offerings on the master's schedule that is available to all students, is there a way to, are all of the classes co-taught under your model, or are there certain ones that have that extra support built into them?
We
certain
have a
sections?
co-taught biology class.
Like one section?
I'm
Well,
trying-
I don't want to like.
I'm not looking at the master schedule right now,
So,
so don't hold me to
but it's
specific
not
sections.
all. I guess the point is, it's not all of them, but there
No,
are certain.
not
sections.
every-
Yeah, no. It's,
Yeah.
The details are in the. Yeah, no, you're good. Yes.
So I believe we have 7 co-taught classes now, which go between math, English, social studies, and science. So the question is, right now we have a bio co-taught class, and we also have, next year, we're going to have to add either a chem or a physics co-taught class.
Fantastic.
We're seeing kids successfully move up the course model, so
I love that.
we created Pandora's box, right? Because as that one group becomes successful, we're going to have to add the next level. I think that's your question.
Yeah, I think it's a win. I don't think there's anything wrong with kids being successful. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I just wanted to give this opportunity to
Yeah.
kind of celebrate that. So
Yeah,
thank you.
no, I appreciate it. So, is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you.
You're out of the hot seat.
Have a good evening.
Thanks. Okay, with that, I'd like to move the rest of the items on consent.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion, questions?
Are these at both PV and Chico High, or just
That's a
exclusively?
good question. Are these courses just strictly for Chico High?
They can be offered at both high schools. Right now, they're just offered at Chico High.
Okay, so us passing this means that it's available for both schools to use, but right now,
Correct.
it's only being implemented at Chico High. Got it, thank you. I know you want to say something.
Well, just that I might abstain from this one, honestly. I really, I appreciate learning more about why we have this these basic series of courses, but it does raise a couple of flags for me, and I'm going to think about it a little more. I know we're probably going to pass tonight, and that's fine. I understand that you guys need the courses for the master schedule, but don't be surprised if this comes back at some point.
Okay, I'll start. Dalby, aye?
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
Conk and I.
Great, thank you. Okay, we will move along to our discussion action calendar. 1.1 is an informational item for the overview of the League of Stars.
Good evening. I am here with some friends tonight that you'll hear more from in a moment, but I am here to introduce the League of Stars as an informational item to the board this evening. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy what they have to share with you. The League of Stars was created as a partnership between the Student Transition and Retention Center at California State University, Chico, and the Chico Unified School District shortly after students returned to school after the pandemic. The purpose of the League is to provide a sense of belonging, efficacy-building opportunities, and an increased college-going and college-staying atmosphere for its participants. This is facilitated through mentorship between Chico State and CUSD students of color. Currently, the League of Stars serves approximately 100 students at Chico High School, Fairview High School, and Pleasant Valley High School. The program also involves student volunteers and staff from both Chico State and Butte College. Just a little information about mentoring here. The League of Stars follows a long line of evidence-based practices that support mentorship as a beneficial intervention for both mentees and mentors. In this case, college students get the opportunity to gain and practice newly developed skills such as public speaking, conflict resolution, group leadership, planning, etc. Our high school students get the benefit of connecting with older students, which in some cases just graduated from their high school, increased knowledge of collegiate life, and a more diverse support network. Additionally, as the League of Stars is fairly new, we have had the opportunity to research other universities that engage in similar programs in their own communities. For example, Sac State, CSU Dominguez Hills, Cal State Fullerton, UC Berkeley, etc. So it is my pleasure tonight to introduce you to the real stars of the show, Martha McLemore, Malcolm McLemore, and some special student guests, Kaylani and Mark Heller here tonight, and I want you to just, like I said, sit back, relax, and listen to what they want to share.
Tina, do I recognize the gentleman right there from graduation last year?
You do.
A masterful job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marta Andrade McLemore, and one of the wellness counselors at Fairview High School. Thank you for coming, everybody that came out yesterday. So I also help coordinate the League of Stars, and today I have, like Tina mentioned, 3 other people that are going to tell you a little bit about what we are doing. So we're going to start kind of with the story. Malcolm is going, it feels weird to call him Malcolm, because he's my husband. Malcolm is going to start telling you how it started, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit kind of what we're doing right now with Chico Unified and kind of what other schools are asking us to do. And then we're going to end with the best, 2 students that have been in the league for many years, one former student that now is at Butte College and goes back and mentor the students at Fairview, and the other one that is a senior at PV. So I'm going to introduce Malcolm to tell you a little bit more about the story of how the Leo Star started, and then I'll come back and then I'll introduce the last 2.
Awesome. Actually, I don't want to move it too much. I had more to say, but Tina read my whole part, so no problem. My name is Malcolm J. McLemore. I'm the Director of Student Belonging and Empowerment at Butte College, formerly at Chico State, which is where the League of Stars started. And so since I don't have a script, it's all off script. Pre-COVID, even though many of us might not want to think about that, pre-COVID, John Shepard had kind of a gathering of minds to talk about some of the issues, challenges, and achievement gaps within Chico Unified. And I had never met him before that moment, and through being voluntold by my wife, told me to go and just see what they're all about. It was a great conversation that we had, and unfortunately, almost immediately after that discussion, COVID happened. But what sprouted out of that discussion was an opportunity for me to connect with John and to connect with other stakeholders within Chico Unified. And so fast forward to when our students were able to come back on campus, we had a meeting of the minds with a number of stakeholders, both at Chico State and within Chico Unified, to talk about how do we support our students in reacclimating to on-campus education, to help them feel a sense of support and belonging and validation and all the other things, self-efficacy, on down the line, just to make sure that our students were supported. And from that discussion, we created the League of Stars. What Tina had talked about was that the League of Stars really is, or it was, a collaboration between Chico State and Chico Unified. Over the years, it has now grown to be a collaboration between Chico State, Chico Unified School District, and now Butte College. And so I will not overstep because we will go into that. But really, at the seed of this program is really making sure that our students feel validated. One thing that we've told pretty much every cohort that's come in through the program is that life is a team sport. We're just trying to give you more team members. Additionally, at the heart of this whole program is that possibility promotes probability. And I think that all of you have seen that with the presenters before us, that the more we are able to provide opportunities for students to see their future selves, for students to see people who may reflect their identities, people who may reflect where they want to go in their lives, the greater possibility it is that our students are going to be successful. And so with this program, I've seen a number of students over the years, personally, literally change their trajectory in terms of where they are. And you'll hear from 2 students shortly about that. I'll end so you can hear the students with one anecdote, and this speaks directly to Markel. Earlier, when we started the program, I think, a few years ago when we started the program, at the culminating event of the year, I was on the mic at the front, and I think Markel received some award or some recognition. And so I told him, if you come to Chico State, I'll give you a job. That's what I told him. Fortunately, before he graduated, I moved over to Butte College, but he's now at Butte College, and he works for me. So it's pretty amazing. This program has been pretty amazing from the beginning because I've seen a number of students, mentees, mentors, both graduate high school and college. Right now, we're talking about really the impact at the high school level, but it really began as a discussion about not only affecting the students at the high school level, but also at the collegiate level. If some of you don't know, a lot of the students that go to Chico State, transplants. They come from different communities. And so in our discussions about this program, it was really about how do we get students invested in this community to get them to stay. And luckily, I've hired 2 people under me that said they were never coming back to Chico, as I did, because they were invested in that program, invested in the community, and they're still here. And so that's the 30-foot view of this program, and then I will pass it back. I'm going to just say my wife.
Well, the height difference is going to go up and down. So like Malcolm mentioned, we really focus on providing a partnership for all the students of color, right? Everybody is welcome, and we have very diverse groups in every of the high schools. It attracts, the beauty about our program is, or this group is, it has no grades requirement. We just want students that want to be successful. And Malcolm talked a little about the achievement gap. Well, a lot of the time is those students that are not straight A, that are not on extracurricular activities, that they are falling through the cracks. So this program is, if you want to hang out, if you want to see yourself reflected, if you want to invest your lunch every other week and hang out with us, then you are in this program, right? So because again, it's a program mentoring and building them up and connecting them. Like they mentioned, every year I've been part of Chico Unified for the last 3 years, and I've been involved since day one. Every year it keeps growing. Every year we started, at the beginning at Fairview, we will be able to transport them in our little van, that it has said 7 people. Now we have to get buses every single time for Chico High, PV, in Fairview. And the other piece is I keep getting emails from the junior highs. How can we get the league at every junior high and even the elementary levels, right? And so one of the biggest pieces that we're really wanting to be mindful is that a lot of the times we can start programs that are amazing, that you're going to hear the impact that it has. If we don't talk about sustainability and ways to maintain that program, then the program is not going to work, right? If I leave, then where does the program, it shouldn't depend on one person. It should be a program that is backed up and, supported by the institution, so that whoever leaves, this is something that is a legacy, that it continues because we see the results that they are. Again, that's one of the pieces that anytime we have a conversation, I want to jump and be like, yes, let's get into the junior highs. And then, now Pedro is like, let's talk about sustainability, right? Let's make sure that what we have is working, which is working, and it can only work better. And at the bottom of everything is, support and buy-in from all the schools and anybody that can see the value in this program, and also support in money, right? If we need buses, if we need different things, it's going to need some support and getting creative on how can we support those students that are not the straight A students, that are going to, have that motivation of, I'm going to do well at school so that I can go play sports, is how can I do better because I feel connected, because I feel reflected. And as you'll hear a lot of the times, and it's something that we've talked in Chico Unified, for example, at Fairview, there's not a lot of staff that reflects our student population, right? So if a student walks on campus and they don't see another Black teacher, then research shows that unless they see themselves reflected in positions, that they cannot at times feel like they can be there. And so little by little, building it, right? Like Malcolm talked about, is how do we bring mentors? Then they love Chico Unified, and then they end up getting hired by Chico Unified, and then they're here. We're Tina and I talk about growing our own, right? So even from the high school level, that students that want to come back and support and, continue staying in the community, so that it provides that diversity, that amazing talent, and, really reflecting the student population that we have in all of our schools. So, with no further ado, I'm going to introduce, first, we're going to go with Keilani Huerta. She is a current PV high school student, senior, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her experience with the league.
Hello, everyone. How's your guys' day going? So my name's Keilani Huerta. I am a senior at PV, and even though I was born here in Chico, I was raised in Corning. And so the African American population there was just me. I left, right? And so I'm Black and Mexican, and so I didn't really feel represented within my community because I never really fit in with one side or the other because there was no other side. So the Mexican kids never believed me. The Hispanic kids didn't believe me that I was Hispanic, and so I had a really hard time growing up. And I would also get picked on because of my size, because I've always been a bit of a bigger girl. And so I had a really hard time growing up, and that was definitely a blow to the ego and the self-esteem. And so growing up, I really did have a hard time feeling represented within my community. And so I moved here sophomore year, and I kind of felt like a shell of a person. I felt very hollow, like nobody really saw me for who I was. And then I met Martha and Malcolm. So my counselors told me about this new club that was sprouting up on campus. Well, it wasn't relatively new, but to me it was new because I'm not from here. I didn't know anything about it. And so at the time I didn't have very many friends, and I didn't really know how to express myself or put myself out there. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I've always been a pretty social person, a pretty outgoing person. But being able to be part of League of Stars has really given me that outlet that I needed to be able to find my confidence and regain that back, that one that I lost when I was younger. And I think I wouldn't be up here without them 100%, because the sense of community, that sense of family that we have built through League of Stars, not just in PV, but through Fairview and Chico High, it's just a really strong community. And I love right now I'm president of the section of it at my school. And I love all my kids. Well, I think of them as my kids. They're not really my kids. They're like my age. But I love them wholeheartedly, and I love knowing that one day I'm going to be able to help them out as a mentor myself. Because the mentors that we had when I was younger, well, not that much younger, like 2 years ago, they really helped me. They shared my experiences, and I felt myself reflected like I didn't feel reflected before in courting. So the experiences that I've had here in League of Stars are something that I wouldn't trade for the world, and I would hope for every student to be able to join it, not just students of color, but all students, because it's a community where we can all be one and feel that love that we have for each other. Because genuinely, I believe that it should be not just at high school level, but in the middle school level as well, and younger, just because you don't just struggle when you get to high school. Sometimes life happens and we have no control over the situations that happen in our life. So if we feel represented from that age on and we have a good support system, we'll thrive. Because without a support system, we crumble. Like, think of a building and it has a weak support system and an earthquake happens, what happens? The building crumbles. So when we start thinking about League of Stars as a whole and building up a foundation for the students at a young age, it's really important that we implement this, not just in high school, but in those levels as well. Thank you for your time.
I hope I pronounced this right, but Eileen, I gotta say, I love that you remember me. And except for the nervousness, it feels good to be back up here again. But quick introduction, my name is Markel Hardman. Currently, I'm in my sophomore year at Butte College in a sociology major. Like they mentioned a couple times, I was a mentee and a mentor in the League of Star program. And the League of Star for me was a program I wish I had growing up in Chico. I think, I grew up here since I was in elementary school, left middle school, and came back for my high school years. And so, I wish it was a program I had growing up, because when I was young, I needed a program that sat me down with people that looked like me, and so that I could talk about what I was feeling as a black student in predominantly white schools. And the program helped not only help me understand myself, but how to understand the people around me, like my peers. Yeah, that's the word. But that wasn't around then, and it wasn't until I left Chico that I would find programs where I could feel comfortable with myself. And, give me 1 sec. And when I came back to Chico and found out about the League of Stars, I took that opportunity very quickly. You can even ask Martha. And I had an amazing mentor. Shout out to Kamani Davis. He ain't here right now, but if you know who he is, you know he's the man. And he reinforced the notion that I could survive college even though my academic history. And he even continued to help me even after I graduated. Like Malcolm mentioned, as soon as I got to campus, Kamani introduced me to at the time, the person that ran, or we named it now, the Black Leadership and Cultural Center, and got me my first job there 2 years ago, and I've been working there since. And so even after I left, he became an older brother to me. That reinforces the notion that even after I graduated, the League of Stars has pretty much helped me throughout my whole academic relationship. And and since then, I've been on the path to actually become a counselor like Martha and Malcolm behind me. And even Kamani's not a counselor, but he was an amazing mentor, and he's the reason I actually chose this career path, because he was. Dang, I wish he was here right now, but he was such a big help in my senior year at Fairview. And even now, I had just started the Black Student Union, so I'm the president of the Black Student Union at Butte College as of a week ago. And and again, that's thanks to the League of Stars. But and I did an interview a while ago, and someone had asked, and the interviewer had asked me what I want to tell people, and I had told him students shouldn't wait till senior year to feel comfortable with themselves, because as soon as they leave the high school level, the world is going to be even harder on them. So I wish I would have started in middle school. That's kind of what I said. I hope that wasn't too much mumbo jumbo. Again, I was nervous.
do want to share, at every school, we have staff that are stepping up in supporting all the students. So the way the program kind of works is we have mentors from Chico State and now expanding to Butte College. Some former students are coming back. A PV student is mentoring now at PV, Fairview students mentoring. And then what we do is we create curriculums per se to topics to talk about every week. And it's topics from racism, microaggressions, identity, family, college, about once a month or so, or every other month, we take them to either Chico State or Butte College to, again, expose them to different opportunities, engage them in different topics. And at every site, we always have, staff that are stepping up and offering their time to help support, right? Recruiting the students, making sure that they remember, hey, we have a meeting today. And it takes a lot, and it takes the right heart. And so again, for me, it's just, it's a teamwork, the same piece, and it's a teamwork within all the high schools. And our hope is for it to grow and have a place that it could be sustainable and that it could be a legacy for Chico Unified. Thank you so much for your time.
Questions for our presenters?
That's it.
No question, just a big thank you. We appreciate everything you guys do and the effect of this program. It's important and something that we're committed to pursuing and following up on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I would like to invite you to stay close here, and I'm going to invite John Shepard to join me. If anybody noticed on the agenda, we did skip over the Superintendent's Award earlier on in the agenda. And that's because John and I get the honor of presenting the Superintendent's Award tonight to two folks here. So I'm going to go first, and it is my honor to present Martha McLemore with the Superintendent's Award this evening. Come on up. I have known and worked with Martha and the League of Stars for the past 4 years. In that time, I've come to know her as an intelligent, vivacious, and compassionate counselor and educator. The League of Stars started small in numbers, and when it began, included only the men of Chico. While the spark was lit in our partnership with Chico State's Cross-Cultural Center, Martha was instrumental in starting the Women of Excellence branch of what we affectionately call the League, with the main goal being mentoring between adult and collegiate age students of color and our own CUSD students of color. The program gained traction and piqued interest. Ensuring that every student had a comfortable place to go was primary on Martha's mind in the design. Mentors were recruited and students were soon made aware of both the men of Chico and the women of excellence, and we were off to the races. While we can all agree that gathering in person is a lot more fun than Zoom, it is important to know that the League even continued during COVID with meetings being held via Zoom, remember that? With students and mentors. While this did present challenges, Martha never let it stop her desire to keep the mentorship program going, even in the most unknown of times. The year finally came where we could go back to meeting on campuses, and I was fortunate to be paired as a mentor with Martha's Fairview Women of Excellence cadre. Martha led our cadre as the main mentor with grace, kindness, and honesty. These young women of excellence had many questions, thoughts to share, and things to say. They were open to sharing unique challenges they were experiencing, and they were also clear to open dialogue and ideas to consider to move forward positively and with strength. I thoroughly enjoyed my time as a mentor with the Fairview Women of Excellence, and as always, students taught me more things, probably more than I was able to teach them. Martha has continued to lead our District League program. This year, she has worked to develop a consistent plan of instruction and support that is rooted in the original purpose of the League. This has shared her positive energy and skill set and organization and problem solving with all 3 high school programs. I deeply appreciate Martha's can-do attitude and willingness to look at all aspects of problem solving with our students in the direct center of focus. I know many other CUSD staff who feel the same as I do. She's also a kid magnet, and loved and respected by students she meets and works with. On a personal note, I am fortunate to call Martha my friend. She has listened to me and offered advice and expertise when I needed it, and I do the same for her. In a world where we all increasingly need to work together, it is comforting for me to know that Martha walks alongside all of us here in Chico Unified. Congratulations, Martha, on receiving recognition this evening for being you.
I also want to invite Hilani up here as being another amazing female leader. And we're going to give you this, and we're going to turn around and take a picture. Okay. Thank you for all you do. Tina, get in here. Thank you for your leadership. Please, get rid of the wrinkles. Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We're not done. There you go, Malcolm. Now we'll be good. Before I introduce our next recipient, I also want to just recognize Jay Marchant, Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services. You know, Martha talked about sustainability, and without a budget and a vision, we wouldn't be standing here. So Jay, just want to thank you for all your work to support this program. But it's time to celebrate Malcolm. So when provided an opportunity to describe the impact Malcolm J. McLemore has had and will continue to have on the students and staff in the educational communities in which he has worked, a multitude of descriptors flooded my fingertips. I wanted to describe his wonderfully welcoming personality. I wanted to speak about his amazing ability to listen without judgment. I wanted to explain how he has a knack for maneuvering through the inevitable bureaucratic red tape and turn barriers into hurdles. He's really good at it. Rather, I would like to describe my perception of him as the epitome of transformational leadership. In addition to all you've heard tonight about the incredibly meaningful success of the League of Stars, it's important for the board and our community to know how Mr. McLemore has impacted the Chico Unified School District community in other ways. For example, a few years ago, the Ed Services team was challenged with identifying a speaker to provide professional development to our staff. When Mr. McLemore became aware of this challenge, he immediately contacted a mentor of his, Dr. Derek Greenfield, to see if he would work with us. A connection was made, and when we fast forward to this year, Dr. Greenfield has provided us with opportunities to self-reflect on how we perceive those around us and coached us about how we allow those perceptions to affect our interactions in our various roles within the Chico Unified School District. Mr. McLemore knew what we needed and found a resource to support us. Additionally, it's important for people to know how connected Mr. McLemore is to the students he works with. Just last night, he and I were standing in the middle of the recently remodeled shade structure area during the Fairview Multicultural Celebration, and a student from one of the Butte College tables came by and said hi. After the student walked away, Mr. McLemore turned to me and explained that the student had made it to Butte College and was thriving. The former Fairview High School student had connected with Mr. McLemore through the League of Stars 3 years ago, and that connection had paved the way for the student to now be out in the community representing higher education, all because of the strength of Mr. McLemore's leadership. Mr. McLemore's mantra of possibility promotes probability has manifested itself all around our educational community, and I can only imagine how the effects of his ability to create sustainable change will continue to spread everywhere he lands. Mr. McLemore is a transformational leader. Thank you, Mr. McLemore, for all you do for everyone around you, and while I've been referring to Malcolm all night as Mr. McLemore, soon, while juggling his professional duties, his powerful commitment to his kids, and I don't know where they are, I was hoping to see them, because they are a lot of fun, and of course, making sure Martha has everything she wants, Mr. McLemore is finalizing his dissertation and will soon be Dr. McLemore. We cannot wait to see where that takes you.
Markel, you come on up too. Thank you.
Just a side note, I graduate in June.
Been amazing.
Almost there.
June's a big,
Let me go on the other side.
all right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Let's get all of you in here, I'll get you all in here, let's take a picture of all of them.
No.
Get the board in the background, come on, do your magic.
Short people in the front.
I'm not saying that. I am not saying that.
Literally, that's just me.
Come on over here. Come on over here.
With the short people.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for continuing to do this.
Alrighty, that was great, thank you. Up next is 9.1.2, discussion action for Chico Unified School District Butte Community College Partnership College Connection Program calendar with Mr.
Good evening, board.
What, did I miss one?
This is all on me.
Oh.
We kind of flew right past, we did have some public comment.
Oh,
League of
geez.
Stars.
Yep, you're right. Thank you, okay, sorry, good job. I thought about it right at the beginning too, and then that was just.
My name is Mandy Browning. I have a 5-year-old that's in kindergarten. My wife and I were fortunate enough to attend one of the BIPOC community engagement meetings, and in that presentation, the League of Stars presented, and we were absolutely blown away. They said it a few times about how when you see yourself when you're younger and you see what you could become, how that can be transformational. And my wife and I were so excited to take that home. Our son is named Malcolm, and he is stoked to meet another Malcolm. So I hope to one day introduce him to Malcolm and Marta together. The reason that I wanted to give a public comment today was about this program, about how special it is. I would love to see this program. I know they talked about sustainability, and I agree. I think that's an important component. I would love to see this program extended to the junior high levels with outreach to even elementary school levels. My son is, like I said, he's 5, but that doesn't mean that he hasn't experienced some of those microaggressions that they were talking about, that they have conversations in their meetings. Some of those microaggressions have sadly even come from family members, and that's been hard to navigate. And having those conversations in a safe space, I think, can be really beneficial for him and others like him. Representation matters, and I think that seeing leadership roles that are held by BIPOC community members is so empowering. It's empowering for us as moms of a child, and it's also empowering for him. That's why I'm so eager for him to meet them, is because I think that he'll immediately take to their beautiful spirit. And I cannot wait to get him involved in this program in any capacity. So I'm very excited that the funding is in place. I would love to see that continued. And I just cannot say enough good things about this program and how excited we are to be a part of it. Thank you.
Madam President. Thank you. My granddaughter, Chanel, is a woman of color, and she had to come live with me in Chico because she had been going to school in Walnut Creek. And she was, as mentioned, she was the only black child in the school. And they did nothing to intervene on her behalf. And so in order to survive and stay in school, she came to Chico and enrolled at Fairview. And even though there's not a representation of black people at Fairview, the attitude toward acceptance is there. And my granddaughter graduated and is thriving and just turned 30.
Thanks again. I think that it's going to be great to watch the program continue to evolve and hopefully grow, and we'll make sure that all of our students in Chico are feeling represented. I think that's very important, and we all do. So yeah, thanks again for being here tonight. Okay, with that, I will now invite Mr. Caldera up here for our next item, please. This is for, I already said it out loud, but it's for the community college connection, yes?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is the annual presentation of the Butte College program calendar for the 24-25 school year. Just want to let you guys know that Elaine Elsmore did want to be here tonight, but due to prior commitments, she was not able to be here. She is the program coordinator for the Butte College Connection program. It serves up to 35 students from both Pleasant Valley and Chico High School who are interested in spending their senior year at Butte College. The students complete their high school requirements through a combination of seat time and independent studies. Students can typically complete an average of 22 college units. Some of the things you may notice on the calendar is their earlier start date. The calendar starts earlier to onboard students with the Butte College program and to teach students how to use and interface with the Butte College Learning Management System, Canvas. That's the name of the program. The calendar is also created in this fashion to satisfy the instructional minutes required by California Education Code and our district requirements. As for, as of 4/12, there are currently 30 students participating for next year.
I thought you meant 4/12, like the time today. I was like, oh, you just looked that up, huh?
Day and month.
Sorry.
And this is a discussion action, so.
Are there any questions from the board?
Now, it looks as though the coordination of the spring break that includes March 17th and the winter break has an extra week, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then I read it correctly. Okay, I don't have any questions.
Great, and we don't have public comment on this item, so with that, is there a motion?
Sure, I'll move to adopt the Butte College Connection calendar as presented.
Second.
Fantastic. Because we have an absent tonight, I think we have to do a roll call all night, so we'll just go ahead and start with Mr. Landa this time.
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
Conkin, aye.
Dalby, aye. Fantastic, let's move on. That's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Business Services. 9.2.1 is a discussion action item on Charter Schools Measure K projects request. Hi, Maria.
Hi. Okay, so on March 11, 2024, the Charter School Facilities Committee met and has brought forward the gym floor repair project at Chico Country Day for your approval.
Does the board have questions?
No.
No? No? Any public comment? No? Motion?
I move approval of the request for Chico Country Day School.
Seconded.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
We're going to vote really quick. We'll have to do a roll call vote again. This is the procedures. Let's start with Ms. Robinson.
Robinson, I have a question, Madam President.
yeah.
There's 4 different items on this. Do we approve everything in the one vote? Is that the intent?
I'm not sure what you're looking at.
Mr. Robinson, are you alluding to the over here. Are you talking
Oh.
about the 4 attachments?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's one item, so just an area of clarification. So Chico Country Day, at their last submittal, had submitted for the remaining of their Measure K dollars. So what they're doing is they are pulling back on some of the outdoor shade structure components of that last proposal in order to do the $35,000 for the gym reflooring.
Okay.
So the attachments are to show what they did before, as well as the gym repurposing now.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and start us off with a vote?
Yes, Robinson, aye.
Conk and I.
Dalby, aye.
Lando, aye.
It's approved. Thank you. I could have, asked more questions for you to come tell us more about the project. But okay. Well, thanks for being here. Okay. 9.2.2 is a discussion action for bid approval rooftop HVAC package unit installation at 5 sites.
Yes. So this item, actually, the facilities department and the M&O department, we're working very closely together to coordinate the procurement, M&O, and the bid process and installation, which we're doing jointly. Back in 2021, April 21st, the board approved the air and climate quality, HVAC, climate control, filters, et cetera, in the amount of $3 million. Since then, the M&O department has procured units, over 100 units, and they have been delivered to our corp yard. In March of '24, the facilities department issued a bid notice for the rooftop HVAC package unit installation project for 5 sites. Since then, it has been bid. The bids were received April 9th, and we received 1 bid for the amount of $874,290 for installation of these units only. This is a very tight project, tight span. We will start June 10th, and we will be finished up before school.
Any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
Okay, I'm just making sure that I've got the $3 million in the first sentence was for the units, am I correct? And now the $800,000 is for installation of those units.
So the $3 million was the aggregate budget in order to do HVAC and any climate control. So out of that $3 million, we've already ordered the units. Took a very long time to receive them due to the delayed supply chain. They've now all been received on site. They're sitting at the corp yard. But because of the rooftop mounts related to these HVAC units, we're going out for bid and we're hiring an outside contractor to be able to do that. So what's left of the money is over almost $900,000 to be able to install those units that are currently sitting at the corp yard.
I have no further questions.
Which organization was the bidder?
United Building Contractors out of Chico.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see no more questions and no public comment. We'll ask for a vote. I'm not on it today. My poor brain. A motion, thank you.
That's a move.
I'll second.
All righty. Any further discussion, board? Seeing none, let's start with Ms. Conkin.
Conk and I.
Dalby, aye.
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
All righty, it passes. Let's
Thank you.
get it done. Thank you. Hey, Phil. My Chromebook won't let me open the board agenda, so I can't open any attachments over here. Okay, thank you. But we don't have to wait for me, we can move on. We'll move on to 9.3.1, under Human Resources, discussion action item for resolution number 1638-24, recognition of Classified Staff Appreciation Week.
All right, so it's my pleasure to bring this resolution forward for Classified Appreciation Week. Resolution number 1638-24. I'll read it, just so you know what it says, and it's on the record. So, Sorry, I don't have my glasses today. All right. The week of May 20th through the 24th is hereby designated as Classified Employee Appreciation Week. Whereas the education of youth is essential to the future of our community, state, country, and world, and whereas classified employees are the backbone of our public education system, and whereas classified employees work directly with students, educators, parents, volunteers, business partners, and community members, and whereas classified employees support the smooth operation of offices, the safety and maintenance of buildings and properties, and the safe transportation, healthy nutrition, and direct instruction of students, and whereas our community depends on the trust of classified employees to serve students, and whereas classified employees with their diverse talents and true dedication nurture students throughout their school years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Chico Unified School District Board of Trustees, if approved, proclaims May 20th through the 24th, 2024 to be Classified Employees Appreciation Week, and be it further resolved upon approval that the Chico Unified School Board of Trustees strongly encourage all members of our community to join in observance and recognition of the dedication and hard work of these individuals. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think that there's any questions for clarification or public comment, so I will ask for a motion.
I move approval of resolution number 1638-24, Classified Employee Appreciation Week.
I'll second it. That's a motion by Robinson and a second by Dalby. I'll also start the vote. Dalby, aye.
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
Conkin, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And a big thank you to all of our classified employees out there. We really do depend on you guys.
Alrighty. Also under Human Resources, oh my gosh, wrong packet. I am losing it tonight. 9.3.2 is discussion action for resolution number 1639-24, recognition of teacher and certificated staff appreciation week.
Thank you, Madam President. In the spirit of celebration, we also like to recognize the certificated staff. So we've created resolution 1639-24. Whereas a strong, effective system of free public school education for all children and youth is essential to our democratic system of government, and whereas the United States has made considerable progress in the social, technological, and scientific fields due to our system of free and universal public education, and whereas much of this progress can be attributed to the qualified and dedicated teachers and certificated staff entrusted with the educational development of our children to their full potential, and whereas teachers and certificated staff should be accorded high public esteem, reflecting the value the community places on public education, and whereas the Chico Unified School District is keenly aware of the importance and impact of teachers and all certificated staff on children, and whereas it is appropriate that teachers and certificated staff be recognized for this dedication and commitment to educating students, therefore be it resolved that May 6th through the 10th of 2024 be proclaimed Teacher and Certificated Staff Appreciation Week in the Chico Unified School District, and urge all citizens to pay tribute to our public school teachers and staff. Furthermore, the teachers and staff in the Chico Unified School District should be thanked every day for their dedication, professionalism, and for the services they provide to our students.
Thank you, Mr. Shepherd. Board questions? No? No public comment, so I'll ask for a motion.
I move approval of resolution 1639-24.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so we'll start the vote with Mr. Lando.
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
Conkin, aye.
Dalby, aye. It passes.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to highlight that during the week of May 13th through the 16th, our Pleasant Valley High School Food Services and Hospitality CTE Pathway will be providing some snacks to all of our staff during that week. So we're really excited about it. District-wide.
How many employees do we have?
No, we guesstimate about 1,500, about 750 on each side. Yeah. Just kind of fluid.
Right, roughly. It's a good number. That'll be fun. Okay, moving right along to 9.3.3 is discussion action for the adoption of the 2026 to 27 student calendar.
Thank you, Madam President. As you know, each year we try to stay 3 years ahead with our student calendar adoption so people can make plans. We can take a look at how we're going to plan our professional development. So I'm bringing to you the 2026-27 student calendar with a process of vetting this through our administrative team, business services, ensuring we have multiple sets of eyes on these calendars so we don't have to bring them forward too many times to have them be readopted.
Not yet seeing any questions from the board. No public comment.
Yeah, the calendar seems to be in sync with what we approved for Butte College connections, so I have no questions.
All right, I'll call for a motion.
Sure, I'll move for adoption of the 26-27 student calendar as presented.
I'll second that motion.
All right, with no further discussion, let's start the vote with Mr. Lando.
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
Conkin, aye.
Dalby, aye. It's unanimous. Plus one absent. Up next is the 9.3.4, discussion action for resolution number 1640-24, elimination of classified staff due to lack of work or lack of funds.
Thank you, Madam President. So I'm here for the resolution 1640-24, elimination of classified staff due to a lack of work or funds. I'm presenting 3 positions. None of them are, actually, they're all currently vacant. So there's no people in the position. These are positions that have either been vacant for a while, over 5 years, or due to lack of funds, due to a site lack of funds.
I'd noticed that, so it's for the 24-25 school year, so for next school year.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the nutrition services area coordinator position supposed to be?
So these were basically coordinators, middle level management positions that go out and oversee certain areas in the nutrition services. So they work directly with the director, like right under the director, and went out and oversaw the sites directly. But we actually have changed the position, and there are different positions. There's still 3 people in these positions, so these have just been kind of sitting vacant, and so kind of morphed. They do the job of what the coordinators used to do. So these are sitting, not being utilized.
So the roles that these positions would be filling are being fulfilled by their staff right now currently?
Yes.
In other classifications?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I correct in remembering that the nutrition services area coordinator positions were heavily involved with approval of our free and reduced price lunch program applications, as well as the creation of the what we bought list? Can't think of the name
Like
of
the purchasing list of
Yeah.
what we bought. I don't know the answer to that. It was a little bit before I came into this role. I wasn't sure if they did that specific role, but
let me jump in here. So
figured.
back in, I think it was 2018 or 2019, there was a concern. The area coordinators were overseeing all our sites, but there was a concern about evaluation. So they were seeing them on a daily basis, but they couldn't actually evaluate them. So it was brought to the Personnel Commission about how do we change these positions to do the same responsibilities, but enable the individuals to actually evaluate. And so it was that point in time where the nutrition services supervisor position was created. Those individuals moved from this area coordinator into the supervisor position, And in some review of position control over the last couple of months, we realized that these two positions were still sitting on our books, just unfilled. So that's why it's been asked that these brought forward for elimination for next year. So we're not budgeting for positions that we're ultimately not going to fill.
That was going to be my next question. So like this year, they had been budgeted for.
Actually manually back them out because I knew that we weren't going to fill them. So this is part of the cleanup.
You're always so on top of it.
On the position control side of things that may need to be brought to the board that are sitting on our books that we know we're not going to fill, so we don't want to budget for them.
Sure, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no further questions or public comment, I will call for a motion.
I'll move adoption of Resolution 1640-24.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Landau.
All right, and seeing no further discussion, we'll start the vote with Ms. Robinson.
Oh, aye. Robinson, aye.
Conkin, aye.
Dalby, aye.
Lando, aye.
I like to keep myself on my toes to just rotate it through whoever votes first. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that all year or two, but yeah, sometimes I don't remember where we left off. It passes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is 9.4.1, discussion action for the approval of revised, updated, new board policies.
So we do have a board policy that first came to you at our last meeting for a first reading. It is now being brought forward for adoption. This particular board policy is related to a compliance review that was underwent by Nutrition Services. In that compliance review, there was a request that we change the board policy. I do believe it was one word that had to be changed, but the updated one that brings us into full compliance is in front of you here for approval.
Madam President, I have a question of the superintendent. Kelly, the first reading did not contain the word change suggested by the auditors, and this does contain. There's not a problem with that one word change being adopted because we can approve something on the first reading, but shouldn't it be clear that this would be considered the first reading because the first reading technically didn't have the word change in it? Does that make sense? Probably not.
I'm not sure I'm following you, but to answer your question, yes, we may adopt on a first reading.
Right.
Yeah, I believe the word change was on there last time, but
How it been before the
I've been
audit?
wrong before. That's the whole reason we brought it forward is because the compliance review requested a change. So I believe it was on there, but I
Okay.
will look to Erica, who knows everything.
Who's the compliance coordinator?
So from a nutrition services perspective, the lead is Vincent Cerro, but depending on the elements that are spelled out in this policy, Sydney Reynosa is also our nutritionist. So if there's complaints related to our meal program or meal menus or any nutrition component, then she would assist with that.
What's her title or her classification?
I call her our district nutritionist, but Sydney, what is your actual
Oh,
title?
you're here. Hello.
Yes. Nutrition specialist.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. Cool. I'm glad I asked. I am curious about what Eileen brought up, but I have no further questions or concerns. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, I'll call for a vote. I'll call for a motion. What is wrong with me tonight?
I move approval of the nutrition program compliance 3555.
Seconded.
All right, well, seeing that there's no further discussion, we'll start the vote with Ms. Conkin.
Conkin, aye.
Dalby, aye.
Lando, aye.
Robinson, aye.
It's unanimous. I feel like it's been like that all night. This would go a lot faster if we didn't have to read our names off. Thank you, it passes, good job. All right, up next is items from the floor. Not seeing any items from the floor, so we can move along to board member to request to agendize, but there are no requests at this time. And so with that, I would ask if there's a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'm having so much fun, I think we
So moved.
It's done.